We Are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. As Spurs finally got back to winning ways at the hands of Hoffenheim, 3-2 out in Germany to get our Europa League campaign back on track. And we're going to get into the player ratings in just a second, but let's go show some love, people, to Stocks FC. Link in the QR code just below me and also in the description below. If you use our QR code, you get 5 free loan players. When we signed up, we only got 2, but if you use our link, you get 5, which means you open 5 packs, 5 players will appear out of them, and all the profits that these players make, you get to keep by the end of the duration. The loan players that we got were Jeremy Doku and Elijah Adebayo, and we saw profits on both those players. We did. But our portfolio at the moment, every time we're looking at it, is getting stronger and stronger. At the moment, we're showing a $17 profit. So we're in profit of $17 at this moment in time. Richarlison and Romero and Maddison, to be fair, just keep going up and up and up. And Van de Ven, in anticipation of his return, he's going up. So Spurs may be on the up. Maybe Tottenham anticipating a turn of results. I thought you were about to sing Spurs are on their way to Wembley. No, not yet, not yet. In terms of the overall movers and shakers, I guess we should have a look at the overall transfer market. At the moment, who's getting a big change? So Totti Gomez, 190% increase at the moment. Moussa Diaby is on the up as well.
Harry Wilson could be a good one.
Harry Wilson for Fulham, he's been doing very well at the moment.
Well, Jimenez is actually cheaper than Harry Wilson.
Sonny's got a 12% increase over the past few hours.
2 goals last night.
There's Maddison, as you can see. But yeah, Matt Sells. I did mention Matt Sells because he's got quite a low supply, which means his stocks are scarce, and they're doing very well at the moment, Forest. So he's on the up at the moment. Maybe is Nick Pope close to returning? Because he's close. Cause he's 14 cents. He could be a good one to invest in. Yeah, but a lot of value to be had on Stocks FC, which is the footballer trading platform. So you got to be in it to win it, guys. We've had really fun times over the last couple of weeks investing in this platform. So I suggest that you do the same, because we're getting a lot of tips right at the moment. So if you follow our tips, maybe you'll be in the money just like we are at this moment in time. But it's important to remember, do not spend what you can't afford. It's just a bit of fun, guys, and only use a kind of disposable income. It's not used for a second wage or anything like that. Just a bit of fun throughout the weeks and to judge your football knowledge on. So let's get into the player ratings now. Hoffenheim 2, Tottenham 3, and we're going to start off with Brandon Austin. 7s all round for Brandon. He made one really top save, getting down really quickly. It looked like through a sea of players as well, so you would have seen it late. Which in the first half, I think it was 2-0 at the time, so it would have been a precarious situation if we did concede at that moment in the game. And I feel like Fraser Forster wouldn't have got down quick enough to save that. So I think if it does go in, you're probably a bit disappointed because it was actually quite close to him, but he got down really well. And apart from that, I thought he was really commanding his 6-yard box. Didn't have too many top saves to make, but he did his job pretty well. Yeah, and I thought he came for a few crosses as well and was quite strong in that situation. I thought playing out the back, he didn't have to do too many like complicated things. He was no keeper that way, but I thought he just did his job fairly well. And I thought his shot stopping was pretty good. Any shot that came against him, he dealt with. For the goals, first one, can't really do much with it. Second one, kind of gets caught under the flight of the ball. But again, I don't think he can really come and claim it. It's a really good cross, so I'm not going to blame him for it. Obviously, he got nearly caught out with a chip, didn't he? With a chip from the kind of edge of the area, which was dinking to the far post, but luckily for him, it went wide. But that save in that first half was really impressive, and I thought by and large, there was another one where he had to come out and smother really well. So I thought another solid display from him, and that's 2 pretty good displays in the Spurs shirt now. Yeah, absolutely. We move on to Pedro Porro. 7s all round for Pedro, and started the game with a bang, didn't he, with that brilliant ball to James Maddison over the top of the highest quality. Really good assist for Pedro. And I thought he was trying it quite a few times in the first half. He was trying to find players in behind that Hoffenheim high line. And yeah, I felt like from a defensive capability, I think he dealt with most things pretty well. But one of the goals he probably should have done better from, just caught out of position. But I mean, we've been saying about Pedro all day long. But yeah, I thought all in all, with what he's had to go through pretty much all season, particularly over the last month, with the amount of energy he's used this season, I think he's had the most minutes out of everyone in the whole squad. He's putting in such an effort for the team, and yesterday was no different. Yeah, and I thought obviously that ball to Maddison was fantastic, and that's something that we know he's capable of. We know he's got that quality. Maddison said he saw Pedro pick up the ball and he's like, I know he can put it on a sixpence for me, and I made that run. So fantastic stuff from Pedro. We need more of that from him, albeit sometimes he can be a bit wasteful with it, but I thought by and large that was obviously on the ball pretty good. Defensively though, I mean, again, there was some good stuff, but obviously the first goal, he's quite out of position and on an attack where we're on the attack, and then all of a sudden Hoffenheim just spring on us, bam, he's there on that left-hand side, and it's a goal, and that's something that we've been troubled with for large parts of this season. So it showed its ugly head again, but I thought by and large he put in a pretty solid display.
Yeah, Dragoshin, sixes all round. I thought from a defensive standpoint, you know, he made a lot of important blocks and tackles and stuff like that. But I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it, all the time with Radu Dragusin, where you know he's got the defensive capabilities, but when it comes to on the ball and really starting moves for us from the back, when you're trying to play out the back, I mean, he's found wanting more times than not, and it's actually so frustrating with Radu because that's the way we play, and that's what we need from our centre-backs. I know,
he just seems to panic a lot, doesn't he, whenever he's on the ball, and it happened on a few occasions yesterday. I thought there were a few times as well he got caught kind of when crosses coming in, and I think when Kramaric got the header, I think it was Radu who lost his man, and I also think when the goal they scored late on, I don't know if Radu can be better with marking there, but I thought a lot of the time as well when in general play, when they're whipping balls across the face of goal, he's doing a lot of clearances and he's mopping up and he's doing quite well, and he's being a bit more proactive. On the ball, I don't think there were too many mishaps, but he just doesn't exude confidence again, and a few times he was rushing it and it went out of play. So I gave him a 6. Don't think it was terrible, but nothing exceptional.
Ben Davies up next to him gives him a 6. I gave him a 7.
I thought I gave him a 7, sorry, but it looks like I did give him a 6, but there you go, it's my bad. I gave him a 7. I should have given him a 7.
Yeah, I thought he was, particularly in the second half when it was backs against the wall and Hoffenheim were really dominating us and we were struggling to get out. I thought Ben Davies was putting his body on the line, giving his all for the team, and the amount of blocks, and particularly I think he made the record amount of clearances or something in the Europa League this season, which is spectacular for
17.
him. Was it 17?
That's a mental amount, isn't it?
That is a mental amount. And look, this guy bleeds blue and white. He really does. And, you know, he gets a lot of flack from a lot of people in the fan base. And I think this season, more than not, he's been one of the better players on the pitch. So you've got to give Ben Davies a lot of credit. He always stands up for the team.
Yeah, he did really well. And considering as well, he shouldn't have played 90 minutes on the weekend. Was probably really difficult for him to play another 90 minutes yesterday. He's done exceptionally well, and we're asking a lot from him. Could have ended up in another situation like, you know, Romero van der Ven when they came back and got injured, but it didn't. We kind of got away with it, luckily for us. And I thought he did really well. And as you say, the amount of clearances he makes, you have to keep your concentration, and you can see him out. I think it really helped having that experienced head at the back. We just haven't had that for months, really. Just someone with that know-how and experience to marshal the backline, making sure everyone's doing their job. It's like we've had to cobble together Gray and Dragoshin, and to an extent Spence as well. I'm not digging them out. I'm just saying they're not leaders there. They're not like experienced heads at the back, which you really, really need kind of in these games. And I think it really helped having him there, and obviously it helped us get through the game. And you could see during the game he was shouting at players, getting them in position, and he led by example with the amount of work he was doing defensively on the ball as well. Pretty good. So good play from Davies.
Yeah. Archie Gray up next. 7s all round for Archie. I mean, this guy, man, the effort that this guy is putting in for the team at the moment, no matter what position you ask him to play, he
Swiss Army knife.
He really is, and he exceeds expectations every single time. 18 years old midfielder, filling in at centre back, filling in at left back, anywhere but central midfield pretty much. And every time he plays, I'm just so impressed with him. And you know, there was a moment right at the end of the game when I think it's 3-2 at that point, and Hoffenheim are attacking, and he kind of just nicks in front of the attacker, and he just so calmly just plays his way out of trouble and does a little bit of a turn and just passes it out the back. And I mean, this guy, nothing phases him whatsoever. And when you're looking at an 18-year-old to do what he's doing right now, it's just exceptional. It really is. And he's so calm and composed on the ball. He's strong in the tackle. He's aggressive as well. I can't praise Archie Gray enough.
honestly, and he has so much quality as well. The composure he plays with. There was points in that second half he was getting down. Sorry, in the first half, getting down that left-hand side, putting balls into the box on his left foot with quality as well. It's like this guy's ability knows no bounds, and I think defensively he was the one in terms of where they were getting joy. I know the second goal came from that ball from the right-hand side, but I thought by and large he dealt with a lot what came at him down that side, and I thought. Really, really solid display from Archie Gray, and he's just doing unbelievable job. And you could see right at the end, dropped to his feet at the end, dropped on the floor in exhaustion. He's just played so much, and he's still keeping up his standards. But I'm sure he's loving this experience at the moment, Archie Gray. As much as the results are bad, like his development, I think it's going to do him wonders.
It really will. It really will, and. I think he's one that really deserves probably a rest this weekend against Leicester. If you can play Reguilon at left back, Porro needs a rest as well. But I think Archie at the age of 18, you just need to give him a rest, don't you?
I agree.
Let's move on to another 18-year-old star for us, which is Lucas Bergvall. Sim gives him a 7, I gave him a 6. I thought, again, like very aggressive in the middle of the park, on the ball. He's a wizard, really. I mean, he's just so calm and composed. A bit like Archie Gray, they've got that same kind of mentality about them. But I did feel like as the game was wearing on, maybe in the latter stage of the first half and into the second half, he was tiring through the game. So that I shouldn't really, but that's what I marked him down on a little bit. And but don't get me wrong, I love Bergvall, I really do. And the way he's playing at the moment, he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, I thought he was tireless, really, for a lot of that game. Yeah, so I thought he got a bit of a second win near the end of the game as well, which really helped drag us through. There was a period, like the whole team, where he was really struggling, but the numbers, his defensive numbers are extremely strong in this game. He got 8 out of 10 duels won. He also made 5 tackles as well. 1 block shot. Like, he was really everywhere. 2 out of 2 dribbles attempted, completed. 1 shot on target as well. Obviously, that was the header he should have buried. To be fair, had to score that chance. But I thought it was a really, really kind of strong showing in the middle where he was really combative, and that's what I love about Bergvall. For all the pretty play, for all the pirouettes or kind of moments where he glides past players, he's also got that grit, and he's got that kind of steel about him to put a foot in. And I thought, really, really good.
Rodrigo Bentancur up next. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. You know what? Probably 8 is probably more of a fair reflection of his performance, because he was brilliant. He was like that glue that kept that midfield together. The way he was starting attacks with his quick passing. 3 of the goals all came from him, and he was just so combative in the middle of the park, wasn't he? He wasn't letting much get past him. Obviously, he was struggling in the game when most of the team was struggling in the for opening 25 to 30 minutes of the second half. But I actually thought in that period he was probably our best player as well.
Yeah, and there are a number of moments actually where he would win the ball on the edge of the box, play it quickly to a Spurs player, and they just didn't have the energy to get up the pitch. And I thought that happened a few times, but I thought he was doing his job really well. His anticipation, his recovering, making sure he's picking the ball up in the middle of the park, on the edge of the area, and at certain situations. Such an intelligent player. I thought his directness of his passing, quickly out of his feet into a Spurs attacker, was really, really important for us in this game. I thought he did a really great job, and I thought involved in, I think, the second and the third goal as well, with his interceptions and starting Tottenham on attacks. And I think if it wasn't for him, I think he really set the tone for a lot of our kind of direct moments of play, Bentancur. And I think he also won the ball the most times out of anyone in this midweek in the middle of the park. So fantastic performance from him, and really great to have him back.
James Maddison, 8 all round for Madders. These are the performances that we like to see from James Maddison. I thought in the last game against Everton, he was pretty poor, to be honest. And this game, he's responded in a really positive light when the team need him the most. He stepped up. I think he showed a bit of leadership on that pitch as well yesterday, which a lot of people have been questioning him on, being the vice captain and that. Very creative, 3 key passes on the day. Got his goal with a lovely finish. Got his assist as well for Sonny. And those two were linking up really nicely yesterday. So I think James Maddison definitely left it all out there for the team yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Went off, I think, in the last few minutes for Kulusevski, but didn't kind of leave anything off the pitch. I thought he really gave his all. Brilliant goal to open up proceedings. I thought he was just adding quality. Got the assist for Sonny's goal as well, the first one, with a nice ball in behind. And I thought he was making the right decisions. He was looking confident. He was looking like every time he was getting on the ball, he could create a chance. He set up brilliant ball into Bergvall for the chance he had as well, which he missed. That was a brilliant pass. I thought he was just really, really great when it came in the first half anyway. Second half, he had to dig in and he had to show a different side to his game, and I thought he defended quite well, and I thought he was getting in position and not kind of being a liability like sometimes he can be in that position. And then he got a well-earned rest, but a really top performance from one of our leaders.
Yeah. Kulusevski, 6s all round for Decky. I mean, my heart goes out to Decky with what he's shown this season. I mean, he's been so good for us, and he's putting in such an effort every single game. And this game was no different. The amount of running that he was doing, the amount of duels that he was going to contest, tireless work rate for Dejan Kulusevski. But I think you can clearly see, like I keep saying week in, week out, the guy is running on empty. The guy needs a rest, desperately needs a rest, because you could just see the levels of quality are just decreasing, and that's no fault of his own. It's just because of the situation we're in, and that he needs to keep getting overplayed.
Yeah, and that happened again yesterday. I thought first half he was looking all right, albeit there was some moments he could have done more. But again, I think the problem at the moment is not just he's being overplayed, but he's also being overplayed in not his favourite position. He's playing a lot of the time on the right wing, and you can see he's just not as good there. I'm not saying he can't do the job. He can play well there, but he's kind of playing too often there now, and he's kind of having to do a job way too much, and it's probably contributing to a decline in performance. You can see he's trying to beat players. There are moments, like there was that moment, there was two back flicks between him and Bergvall, which allowed Spurs to get away, and there was those flashes of brilliance that he still has in him. But unfortunately, that consistent level he was showing at the beginning of the season, we're just not seeing that at the moment from him, and he's really struggling to keep up that kind of intensity and energy levels that we know he's capable of for 90 minutes at the moment, albeit he's still got great physicality. But even in those moments, he's still got moments of quality, which he showed yesterday. But unfortunately, he's just not the same level at the moment.
Yeah, and Son Heung-min, 8 all round for Sonny, and Sonny was back at it yesterday. Another player that just desperately needs a rest, and he's getting overplayed and overworked, and he gets 2 goals yesterday, and the third goal is a goal of the highest degree when the team needed it the most. Our captain Son Heung-min stepped up for us. He gets the goal that makes us 2-0 in the first half as well. We got a bit fortuitous with the little deflection that takes it over the keeper. But I thought, he was bang at it on that left-hand side, and he was a constant threat throughout.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people didn't want him to start yesterday and say he needs a rest, and it's probably true. But he started and he stepped up, and he really kind of gave a really big performance, a captain's performance yesterday. And there was that moment we plays the ball into, it was a 1-0, plays the ball into Porro, through on one. That would have been an assist if Porro buries that chance. He then takes the lead with a bit of fortuitous, but look, he's got to make the run, and he's in a great position, and you earn your own luck sometimes. And if you keep getting those positions, you know that Son is more likely to bury one than not. And obviously the first one got a bit of deflection, but the second one, clinical finish into the far corner. I thought at first half especially, every time he got the ball, he was looking dangerous, and he was making chances happen. There was one moment as well, he cut inside the box, he ballooned it over the bar on this occasion, but again, just continuously getting in dangerous positions, more of the positions that we know that Son is dangerous in, which is really important and actually encouraging, because the big criticism we've had of Son when he's played on the left is he gets stuck too much on the touchline, and we don't find him in those positions where he can score goals and do those finishes. But yesterday he was finding those positions a lot more often, which is really good. Second half, he kind of moved up front, didn't he, after 55 minutes, and after Mikey Moore came on. And yeah, he kind of got nullified a bit, and more because of our general play than him. But the big moment came, and he was clutch, buried it with his left foot into the far post. They called it a kind of catalogue Sonny goal, but he's got a few of those now, because he's got the cut inside, bend it to the far corner, he's got the Sonny zone, and he's got that one where he puts it into the far corner. He scores so many goals. He's got a few classic Sonny goals now, but that was definitely one of them. Beautiful finish, and hopefully, look, he's at, what was that now? Technically 3 in his last 4 now, because he got a goal against Arsenal. Was that 3?
Yeah, 17 goal contributions this season.
Not bad for a bad season, is it?
Exactly, and I just hate all the hate that goes towards Sonny. That he's past it. He's past the sell-by date. He's washed. He's this. He's that.
He's still in Jan. He's got 17 goal contributions.
The guy is incredible, man. The guy is incredible, and we're asking him to churn out performance after performance. Twice every week, we're asking him to churn out these performances. At the age of 32, with the amount he's being overplayed, I think he's doing a brilliant job for the team.
So technically, he's on track for like over 30 goal contributions
In all competitions, yeah.
and that's a bad season apparently.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to the quality of him.
Yeah.
And last but not least, in the starting lineup, Richarlison. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. Maddison did allude to after the game against Everton, he's not ready to start a game, and I think it showed yesterday, to be honest, because I thought he wasn't physical enough. He wasn't able to hold the ball up. I think every time he went in for a duel, he came out second best, and I felt like when he came off was probably the right time to take him off, because I just don't think physically he was at the races yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helped actually having that presence up front. Definitely helped draw attention, and maybe that's why you saw the likes of Maddison and Son get a bit more space, albeit I think it's a lot to do with how Hoffenheim played anyway. Obviously, he did have that one big chance, didn't he, which the ball got played through to him. I can't remember who played it through, but I think it was Maddison, plays it through to him, and his effort was saved by the goalkeeper, and that was obviously his big moment. I thought there were some moments where he did hold up the ball well. There was a moment he holds up the ball in the middle of the park and plays a beautiful half volley out wide to Decky, which set us up on an attack. But then there was probably more often than not kind of him not being able to shield the ball and being bullied and not be able to keep it. And then obviously he got taken off on 55, which was probably pre-planned, I'm guessing, because we just need to manage him at the moment, especially with Solanke out. We can't afford to get him injured. So we just need to do our best to try and keep him fit and get him to a stage where he can play, a lot longer minutes. So fairly encouraging, but, definitely I thought he looked a bit better in the last 2 games.
Yeah, and finally, the last player that we're going to rate is Mikey Moore, who came on for Richarlison after the 55th minute. 7s all round for Mikey. And I felt like he just added that more energy in the front line that we were so desperately needed at that moment in time. And obviously, he got the assist for Sonny with a nice pass, and Sonny obviously did the hard bit. But yeah, I don't think he provided as much quality as maybe he did against Everton and against in the second half against Arsenal Alkmaar. But what he did do was just give us that energy levels that we kind of were dwindling in.
Yeah, and obviously he got the assist, and I thought he was a bit of an outlet when he came on. Obviously, he came on in a period of the game we were really under the cosh, and he had to probably spend a lot of time defending, but I thought he really did kind of sit in well, and I thought he tactically he did quite a good job for the team, and that shows a bit of maturity as a 17-year-old. But I did think in general, when we did kind of go to attack, he was there on the wing. We were feeding him, and that the difference between him and Son is when we feed Mikey on that touchline, that's where he's comfortable. You can see that's where he wants to be. Sonny not so much, but you can see Mikey. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, apologies.
Bless you.
Thank you. You can see Mikey. That's where he's comfortable on that touchline, and you can see
excited Mikey
he makes me so excited. He wants to take people on. He wants to get to that byline, and you can see that's how he creates his chances.
He's a classic Ange Postecoglou winger, though, isn't he, Mikey
exactly.
Moore?
So I think once he really gets a bit of that physicality a bit, and clearly, he's ready to play at this level. Maybe not at the top of his game, but he's ready to contribute. I think he's going to be a top option in this system if Ange is still here.
Yeah.
That is.
And we finish off on Ange Postecoglou. 7s all round for big Ange. I mean, he was on a hiding to nothing yesterday, Ange, with the form that we're on, with the Europa League campaign looking like it was diminishing a little bit after a good start in the first 3 games, winless in our previous 3 games. And we needed a win. We needed to get back to winning ways, and that's exactly what we got. And it was a good performance in the first half. The game should have been out of sight, and that's a credit to Ange Postecoglou for the way he set us up and for getting his players as up for it as he did. A lot of these players are putting in such a big ask and a big levels for Ange in terms of what he's asking them to do on a week-to-week or a match-to-match basis. And yeah, look, Hoffenheim did come back into it in the second half, and we looked out on our feet and we looked like we were running on empty. But the changes that he did make in the game, Mikey Moore coming on, gave us that bit of energy and that bit of extra that we needed to go on just to really seal off that game. I would have made maybe a few changes a bit earlier than I did for the second change. But look, we won the game, and you got to give him a lot of credit for it with the circumstances that we are in. And he also gave Callum Kulusevski his debut as well, which
He looked all right.
yeah, he did look all right. 17 years of age, Mikey Moore's best mate. They've been together since they were the age of 5, even prior to both joining Tottenham. So yeah, big up to Callum Kulusevski.
Yeah, and big up to Ange giving his debut, and I thought he looked bright when he came on. I thought Lancashire as well didn't have much to do, but tried to hold the ball up and was being aggressive in that last bit. And I thought. And in terms of how he managed the game, obviously people say, we could have lost it and we were 2-0 up and we should have played differently and all that stuff. But you can just see this team is completely out on their feet. They're giving everything for the team. And I thought the first half we came out firing and we got that 2-goal lead, and exactly what we needed going to that first half. And he did have a few decisions to make. I mean, obviously, a lot of people were asking for Mikey Moore to start, asking for Lancashire to start. He resisted that temptation. He kept with Son, and he started Richarlison, which was a bit of a big call as well, considering Richarlison maybe not fit enough to start. But it paid off. We got that 2-goal lead going into that last kind of half an hour. And at that point, obviously, it was a struggle. But we just about saw it over the line. And we got that, a lot of people maybe would have taken off Sonny earlier in that game. He didn't. He waited until maybe Sonny had his moment in the second half. And he had it. And then he pretty much took him off immediately. So I thought he did manage the game overall quite well. Wasn't perfect, obviously, because it was very, very close and we could have easily dropped points in this game. But yeah, fair play to Ange, got the win. But we'll see what cost come Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our player rating for the 3-2 win out in Germany over Hoffenheim. And it's not easy to go out in Europe and win, because we rarely do it over, not even just under Ange, just over the course of the history of Tottenham. Whenever I've been following Tottenham, it's very rare to go away to Europe and actually get all 3 points or get the win under our belt. So it's a credit to the team and Ange Postecoglou for going out to Germany and doing just that.